It's Saturday, it's 10:30 in the morning, the sun is kind of out. Let's do it! Hello everybody and welcome to the Ferret Gibbon podcast. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Claire. You can find me on Ravelry as Merrialk and you can find me on Instagram as Ferret Gibbon. Thank you for joining me on what is at the moment a lovely sunny day down here on the south coast of England. We'll see how long it lasts. The weather has been changeable of late. But at the moment the sun is out, there's no lights on. You actually get like actual colour representation today, hopefully. So let's get started while it still glows. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is a finished object. Hooray! This is my Kothbiro shawl that I have been working on for a little while. This is a really nice triangular shawl, 3-colour shawl with lots of different texture patterns on the different sections of the shawl. So you can see here this has got some weird slipped stitchy bits, there's some bobbles, the black, and this is really difficult to see, which is a shame because it's actually one of my favourite bits. It's got a lovely little chevron pattern on it, which you may or may not be able to pick up, but it's beautiful in its subtlety. I think that's really nice. And it is now finished. It is blocked. It has had the end sewn in. It has had tassels attached. I went a little bit over the top on the tassels, I think, but hey, I can always take them off and do them again later, right? And they're quite fun. So yes, the Kothbiro shawl. I'm really pleased with this. The Kothbiro shawl is currently, because the colours worked really well, it's currently sharing off my Smash the Patriarchy badge. Can you see that? There we go. My Smash the Patriarchy badge from Bag, and also home of all sorts of wonderful, lovely cat-based badges. Go and have a look, they're really glorious. I am really pleased with this shawl. Let me take this one off and put that one on. It's really comfortable. It's a DK weight shawl, so it's lovely and toasty warm. Yeah, this is me. Yeah, I think that works really well. I'm really pleased with it. I'm not sure I've got anything else to say to it about this one, actually. It's, yeah, a DK weight shawl just as we hit spring. But I've needed it last week or so. It's been really good. Yeah, the quick run through of the yarn. The black and the cream are both Manos del Uruguay silk blend. And I can't remember what the colourways numbers are, but they're just called black and cream. And the green is the Chromatic Yarns DK. It's the sturdy DK, so it's a higher twist yarn, in the Dagon colourway, which is beautiful, and I think they work really well together, and I'm super pleased with this. And completely finished now. Yep, fully blocked, all the ends sewn in, all good to go. Really happy with that. I also got my blocking on, and I've finished the study stripe shawl, which was already finished last time but has now been blocked and is now even bigger. It is a massive, massive shawl. Thank you for people's hints on how to wear it, which kind of boiled down to however you bloody want to, really. So, study stripe shawl, I cannot say this one at all. It's also not called that. It's called the striped study shawl, isn't it? Yeah, striped study shawl by Veera Välimäki. Yes, that's right. It's massive. It's wonderful. Fingering weight. Love it. So that's 2 now properly finished shawls in the stash. And then I should make notes so I actually remember what I want to talk to you guys about. I kind of did. I just don't know where I've put them. Give me a moment. You see, all the notes are actually on my phone, but I use my phone to record this, so I can't see the notes that I've made to remind me what to say. Yeah, let's go with it and see what happens. So last weekend, no, 2 weekends ago, must have been 2 weekends ago now, I went to Unravel Festival, which was wonderful. It was more than wonderful. It's the first time I've been to a proper fibre festival. So I've been to Alexandra Palace and to Olympia for the knitting and stitching show before, and while that does have a lot of yarn, it's got quite a lot of commercial yarn and it's got a lot of fabric, and I thoroughly enjoyed going there, but it's not had as much hand dyed, as much sort of small batch yarn stuff going on as Unravel did. And I didn't really know what to expect from Unravel. I knew there were going to be quite a lot of people that I was very interested in going to see there. Such an understatement. I was giddy with excitement as I went round it. I was absolutely overawed by the amount of stuff that was on offer there. It was properly glorious. We went in, I met some friends of mine there. We went in and there's like a little basement area and there was like loads of stuff there. It was also shiny. And then there was the main hall and we went around there. I was like, oh, so much stuff. And then we went and had a coffee and we're like, let's go and do a second look round. And then I went, hang on a minute, stairs. There are some stairs over there. And then there was like a gazillion more rooms. And then we came out somewhere else and then went, hang on a minute, there's more stairs. Basically, it was about 6 times bigger than I thought it was. And every time we thought we'd seen everything, we found another room with more yarn in it. And words can't express how giddy it was all making me. So I'm definitely going back to Unravel next year. I may not spend any more money on anything else between now and Unravel so that I can afford to buy all the shiny things at Unravel that I want to buy, but I would absolutely recommend that as a really good fibre festival to go to. I had a wonderful time. And I mean, I feel like I was relatively restrained with my purchases, all things considered. So let me show you what I did get in bits. So the first thing that I got was, and these are already caked up, I'm afraid, so you can't see them in the skeins, but I got some stranded Dyeworks cashmere MCN merino cashmere nylon yarn from Amy at Stranded Dyeworks. Amy is a local to me dyer, and so it was really lovely to see her. And I've been watching her podcast for quite a long time. This is the first time I've actually bought any of her yarn because I prefer to squish yarn in person. This is super soft. Really love it. It's the MCN. This is in Pinata and this is in Gloom, I think. Is that right? I have ball bands. So Stranded Dyeworks MCN. Yes, Pinata and Gloom. They are superwash merino nylon cashmere, 80-10-10 fingering weight, 400 meters per skein. And this is not 400 meters because these have already been turned into projects because yay, knitting bug. So what I did with these, when I went to Unravel, I took with me some old stash yarn that I'd had for quite a long time in some cases. This one I had for bits of stuff on it. I've had this since at least 2012, I want to say. Let's check Ravelry. Okay, so this is Easy Knit's Deeply Wicked yarn in the Sea Monster colourway. I bought this in October 2014 when I was up in Edinburgh for work. I bought this from Calf's Knits, I think, at the time. And I just love the colours of this, sort of the green and the black and the grey, and these are very me colours. As you can see, these are very me colours. But I didn't know what to do. But I've tried casting it on with a couple of things a few times and then frogged it and never quite found the right project for it. So I went to Unravel with this in my bag. along with this, which is Artist Palettes Yarn, Smoothie Sock in the confetti colourway. And I thought there's something in, I want to do something with the two of these together, and I was thinking Exploration Station. So that's when I got these two to go with it, and I thought that would be a fun colour combination that would be sufficiently bright and wacky for a Stephen West Knits project without clashing too badly. So I was really pleased with that combination. And when I got back from Unravel, then I cast on my Exploration Station, which I have properly finished it this morning, finished weaving on all the ends this morning. So this is my Exploration Station, which has then got, so we've got the contrast colour throughout most of it. The stripes is the Easy Knits Sea Monster. That's the stranded Pinata, that's the stranded Gloom, and that's the Artist Palettes Yarn Confetti. And we've got wedges, we've got knitting, we've got brioche, we've got slip stitches, we've got lace patterny bits. It's a Stephen West pattern, there's all sorts of things going on, which I've really enjoyed. It really keeps your interest going, that there's always something different. You only got a little bit to go, and working with all the different colours has been really good fun. What I have found is that there are certain bits of knitting which are actually magic. So these are two just knit sections. These are the short row wedges in this merino cashmere nylon from Stranded, which is very strokeable, very soft, and it's like, oh, this is lovely soft. Then it got to the brioche section, which, as it would happen, was those two stranded yarns together, and I cannot explain how soft this is. I kept stopping knitting to come back and stroke this bit. It was so soft. In fact, I had to invite Leslie of the Not Quite Enough Yarn podcast to come and stroke my fluffy clouds, which is apparently an invitation that she's not had before, but it's so soft, and I now want to knit all of the brioche because, oh my god, if it can take soft yarn and make it even softer, that makes me very happy. But yeah, so on the shawl, I haven't blocked this yet, so I'm hoping it will stretch out a little bit when it's blocked, because I would like it to have been just a smidge longer. It's essentially just about my wingspan. And I think in an ideal world, it would have been slightly, what on earth are you doing? It would have been slightly longer, but actually I think once it's blocked, I think it will be fine. Although if I were to do it again, I might put like 2 extra wedges on it, or make the bit, I feel like I could have done with like 1 extra stripe in it, just to give it that little bit of extra length, but we'll see what it looks like when it's blocked. But colour wise, I'm really pleased with it. Knitting wise, it was great fun, thoroughly enjoyable, and yeah, because it's all the different bits and bobs, it was super interesting and fun to knit, and went really quickly, so really pleased with that. This is double bubble. This is using a finished object made from Unravel yarn, but also made from deeply, deeply stash yarn, which means because over 50% of it was knit from the old stash yarn, this gets to go in the Stash Cal 2019 knit along. Yay! So that's my first finished object for Stash Cal 2019, which is quite exciting. I'm very pleased with that, and is my 3rd finished shawl of the year. Neil now says, my husband Neil now thinks I have enough shawls and should start doing other things. And I'm like, well, yes, I should start doing other things, but you can never have enough shawls. That doesn't work. That's not how this relationship is going to work either. If he can keep buying autographs and cars and shiny things, I can keep making shawls. That's all good. Other things that I picked up at Unravel, and I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do with. I got these babies, and I don't think I've ever felt anything softer in my entire life. So these are 3 skeins of Triskelion yarn, the Hulwen 4-ply, in Tyrian purple, estuary, and generic grey. There's no colourway name on that one. But I was trying to decide whether I liked that colour combination or that colour combination more, and decided, with a little bit of enabling from some friends, that colour combination worked best. So I got all 3 of them. This is, as I said, this is one of the softest yarns I've ever touched in my life. It is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. It's all the softness, and I've got absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with it, apart from obviously shawl, because obviously shawl, but I don't know what shawl yet. I've got a couple of patterns that I've seen which have got some mosaic knitting in them, which I've never done before, and I'm really trying to push myself to try new things and not just fall back on just knitting stockinette all the time. So yeah, possibly some mosaic knitting in the future of that. Maybe. If I can remember, as I've mentioned before, I've got a terrible memory. I've essentially outsourced my memory to my computer. I don't have brain function for any kind of long-term memory anymore. Okay, so yeah, so the first one that I've got my eye on is Jane Jacobs by Christine Kapur, which is this one, which has got some really lovely sort of patterning in it, which I'm a big fan of. And then the second one that I'm kind of tempted by is the Crau by Melanie Berg, which is this one. Thoughts and feelings greatly appreciated on those ideas, but I'm also really tempted by, and I'm not sure if this is the yarn for it, but possibly, I think it could work, the Mysteries She Wrote shawl by Susanne Sommer, which is this one. Maybe I should start a poll. Maybe you should decide what I should knit with this dreamily soft, so soft. You know how much I like soft things. This is all the soft things. Yes. I'd love your thoughts. Or if you can think of another 3-colour shawl that will make a really good effect of those colours, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Comments below, please. That would be smashing. The final yarn that I bought at Unravel, see, I was quite restrained. I only bought from like 3 vendors. The final yarn that I bought is this beautiful, beautiful skein from Third Vault Yarns. I came across Third Vault Yarns recently because of the absolutely amazing colourway names, and when I heard that they were going to be at Unravel, I was like, right, well, I know where I'm going to be stopping off. I only got the one, partly because the store was a little bit busy at the time and I wasn't sure, didn't have enough time to look. So, but I will definitely be buying more of these because they're really lovely. The colourways were absolutely beautiful. This is Third Vault Yarns, and as I said, the colourway names are amazing. So this particular yarn is the Companion 4-ply, which is 100% superwash merino. It's a fingering weight, 300 grams on the skein. And the colourway is Oh No Not Again, which is a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, which is one of my favourite book/radio series/films. Yes, I like the film, /TV series, also wonderful. I know a lot of hardcore Hitchhikers fans aren't a fan of the film. I like it, I just like very much treat it as its own separate thing. I still like it. The rest is better, but I still like it. The radio series is obviously the best. But this is the Oh No Not Again colourway, is a reference to a moment when a sperm whale, right, and a bowl of petunias sort of emerge in space and start plummeting towards the ground. To which the petunia's response is, oh no, not again. You find out more about that later on. So I absolutely couldn't resist this colourway. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Maybe a hat, maybe a cowl. Maybe I'm just going to love it because it's so pretty. I don't know. Maybe I get some more from her and make something bigger. I feel like there could be a really cute cardigan in this if I get a few more skeins of it or complementary ones. Now that's a thought. But anyway, yes, so Ferret Yarns, absolutely beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely getting more of those. I made a couple of non-yarny purchases at Unravel. Shock horror. The first one I want to show you is... This will make my husband laugh. I'm not sure he's seen it yet. A tea towel! Look at that fabric. Isn't it just smashing? So this is a tea towel with this beautiful knit fabric by Tilly Flop. And it's not going to be a tea towel for very long. She had made up on her booth a couple of little project bags made out of the tea towels. And it's like, that's what I'm going to do with it. So I'm probably going to turn it into a little, I don't know, drawstring project bag of some description. But just look at that fabric. It is so delightful. Just cheerful and gorgeous and wonderful. So thank you very much, Tilly Flop, for that. I feel like I've got the label that came with it somewhere. Oh, there we go. Tilly Flop tea towel. I like what it says in it. Sews a little, knits a little, designs a little, and dries up even less. I don't do drying up. I hate drying up. I hate washing up. I hate most housework, to be fair. I don't mind putting the hoover around. Anything beyond that, not me. I'm a bad person, and I've got a very, very good husband. Final bits. Second from final thing that I bought some, third from final thing, because there's another thing inside the thing. So I got, and here's a thing that I didn't know I needed. I bought a flying unicorn llama stitch marker, because it's a flying unicorn llama stitch marker. So alpaca, llama thing, alpaca. It's beautiful. So this is by Rebecca's Room. She had a little stall with various stitch markers and progress keepers and things like that. And I mean, look at him. He's so pretty. So he came home with me. I also went to the Textile Garden store to get some buttons for my cardigan. So the... I can't even remember the name of the cardigan. My first cardigan that I made is called Crumb. My Crumb cardigan, which I think I showed you last time, has been finished bar blocking, weaving in the ends and buttons. It's still in exactly that same state, but I did buy buttons. I bought 2 sets of buttons at Unravel because I couldn't decide which ones I liked. So I've got some metally ones, which are very pretty, and sort of these more woodeny, bluey, woodeny ones. I'm thinking maybe the woodeny ones for this and save this for a different coloured, these for a different coloured project, but they're very pretty, so little handful of buttony goodness, very much like those. And I also got from them this big button just because it was beautiful, and I might just turn that into a brooch or a badge or a necklace or something. Or save it for a project that just needs one big button at the top. Something like that. And I got some little bees. Again, probably just going to get used as decoration at some point on a honeycomby kind of project. Might just like a little honeycomb hat with some little bees on it as well, because bees. Maybe, might do that. And finally from there I also got a lovely, where's it gone? Shawl pin thing, which I've been after one of these for a little while, so I thought that was really cute. And yeah. And I think that's everything I got at Unravel. As I said, I would definitely go back to Unravel again next year. I loved it. It was great fun. I felt that there was a good range of stuff across a range of different price points. Obviously, lots of it's mostly indie dyed, so there's quite a lot of stuff at the higher price points, but there was enough stuff at lower price points that I think it could still be worthwhile if you're working to a more of a budget. I spent quite a lot of money there. I mean, because hand-dyed yarn, it's expensive, but it's gonna last me. This is gonna keep me going for a little while. It will supplement my stash nicely, and I will, yeah, I'm gonna save up for next year and then see if I can see what I can get next year, because I'm definitely going back, and if possible I might see if I can do a workshop next year as well, because that sounds like fun, and I didn't get to go to any of the talks or any of the workshops, and I would like to. I did get to chat with Amy from Stranded, which was lovely, but yeah, it was really lovely to have a bit of a chat with her, but she was very busy. I saw a couple of other podcasters around that I was way too nervous to go and talk to. So I know that Caroline and Dunderknit from Knitting Vicariously was there. I saw her. I saw Hannah from Corner of Craft, who dyed this yarn. I saw her there. Too scared to talk to her. Ellie from Skein Knits was there. And I think there were quite a few other people there that I'm aware of from the knitting community, and I spoke to none of them because I'm scared. I did bump into a couple of ladies from Knit Night, and I had a little bit of a chat with them, which was nice. But yeah, the whole going up to strangers and talking to them bit is still... We've had a conversation about that before in previous podcasts. It's not something that I'm good with. But yeah. I have Since Unravel, I've not bought any more yarn. I did say that I was going to be on a yarn diet, which I have stuck to since Unravel. I mean, it's been like 2 weeks. But still, I haven't bought any more yarn since Unravel. I did, however... This is a multi-part story, so... Let me just make sure I've got all the parts with me that I need. Right, so... Last podcast, I did chat about how I had found in my stash a load of cones of yarn that I wasn't sure what to do with, because it's very fine yarn and didn't know what to do. And the idea just slowly crept into my head that I needed to make a boxy sweater. That I should make it out of this yarn, held triple, because I had 3 colours that worked really well together, and I should definitely cast on a boxy sweater. So I did. Yeah. So this is no longer attached to the ball, to the cone. I started it on, actually I did a swatch first, and I actually really enjoyed knitting the swatch with the 3 yarns held together, which gives, I think, a really nice effect. You can see it's a dark blue / black, a maroon, and maroony purple, which are sort of both quite dark, and then the silver with it, which gives it a bit sort of a mild look. I really enjoyed making a swatch, which is somewhere in the house. And I thought the fabric looks nice. It gives it it's very drapey fabric. It's going to be quite loose, but I wasn't enjoying these needles. So these are sort of the interchangeable needles that I've been using since I first found out that circular needles were a thing. And at the time I sort of saved up and bought myself an interchangeable set, which are the Knit Pro Symphony wood needles. I've got them in all sorts of different sizes, all sorts of different cable lengths. And for most of the projects that I've been working on beforehand, they've been great. I've had no problems with them. I have snapped quite a few of them over the years, so I've got a random selection of needles in my bag now, but generally I have been sort of knitting worsted weight projects, and I've had no problem whatsoever with these needles with those. With this, which is not worsted weight, I found that the yarn was really catching on the points where the needles interchange. So both from the transition from the cable to the metal, and also from the metal bit to the needle, you can see there's another ridge there. And can I get this to focus? One day I'll get a real camera. So I wasn't enjoying knitting with these needles. I also wasn't enjoying knitting direct from the cone, because in order to make the yarn come off the cone nicely, you have to sort of be quite above it. And when I'm knitting, I tend to either be knitting on a train, not a portable project, or curled up in a corner on the sofa, surrounded by a footstool and stuff, which means that the angle was wrong off the cone and it wasn't flowing nicely for me. So I made the executive decision to say, sod it, pull that off. I will unravel that and release those needles at some point. And I had been intending for a while to buy myself some new interchangeables, and this seemed like a really good excuse. So I wanted the Chow Goo interchangeable set. Because I've got a couple of odd Chow Goo needles. I've got some higher as well, but I really like the Chow Goos that I've got. So I wanted the interchangeable Chow Goos. I wanted the full set because I'm a completionist and I like to own pretty things. And yeah, but I had a bit of a look around and I found a particular yarn store online that was selling them at a really good price for the full set. And I had recently had a £25 voucher back from my train company for delaying me and buggering up my journey quite severely the other day. So I thought, well, I can just put that £25 towards the needles. Not going to buy any more yarn for the rest of the summer. And these came home with me. So I got these from... I'm sure I brought the... I could have sworn I brought her business card over here somewhere, but... apparently not. I bought these from Gorgeous Yarns online. I will put links below. I mean, regardless of where you buy the Chow Goo set from, it's the same set, but that's where I happened to buy it from, and so I got a really good price for it. I've got the full set of 5-inch tips, which are the slightly, not longer, but not short, if that makes sense. Slightly, so the 5-inch tips. And maybe my Christmas present to myself will be the matching 4-inch tips. Can't justify that. To go with it. And so far, I am loving these. These arrived before I finished my exploration station, so I moved the exploration station over onto the Chow Goos to finish it off. And they're light. They're really light. They've got a beautiful transition between cable to connector to needle, so it's really smooth. And things zipped along really nicely. So I thought, right, okay, I'm happy with those. I will cast on the Boxy again. But what I've done this time is I've wound the yarn off of all three, around a ball of yarn. I've taken 3 cones and wound them onto one cake, so that I'm working from a single cake for this project, but it has got all 3 yarns in it, and crumbs, which is making it much easier to knit from. Working from the Chow Goo needles now, much easier to knit from. So I'm now up, I mean, I've still barely done any, but it's noticeably more than it was in the old one, and I only really started on this yesterday. So very small start on my Boxy. It has about a gazillion stitches. It's going to take a little while. It's going to be a really light drapey fabric, so even with the 3 strands held together, this is still not a fingering weight. So you can see it is quite holy, you can see through it. But actually I'm quite intrigued to see what that will be like as a fabric. I think it'll probably be quite delicate. I tend to, when I'm wearing cardigans, a lot of the time, the cardigans that I wear are essentially, it's like just t-shirt fabric anyway. It's just to give an extra layer. I just feel more comfortable wearing multiple layers rather than wearing a single layer. Even if the temperature doesn't need layers, I like layers. So actually, a very lightweight boxy, I think could work really well for me. Hopefully, we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. Let's hope that, I think the gauge is right. But we'll see how it comes together. At the moment, it is still, I'm doing ribbing. At the moment, I'm still knitting this flat for now, for a couple of reasons. So firstly, I've known a couple of people have said that in order to reduce the risk of twisting your stitches when you join them together for circular knitting, it's quite good to knit a few rows flat first. Makes it easier to see whether things are twisted or not, so I thought that's a very good idea. But mostly it was because I was casting this on the train on the way to work, and when I got to the end and was about to join it all together, realised I didn't have any stitch markers with me to mark the beginning of the round, so I thought, let's knit the first bit flat. So I'm going to knit the ribbing flat, then I'll join it together, I'll steam that little bit of ribbing, and then I'll carry on with the stockinette in the round after that. And so this is a lot of stitches. There's 400 and something stitches on this. I may be knitting this forever, but it's actually quite an enjoyable knit. Now that I've solved those teething problems of working from the cones and with the needles, I'm actually really pleased with how that's going. And say I've only started this yesterday, so yeah, that's not bad. I'm quite pleased with that. And we'll see how that goes along. All good fun. Shawls, yarn. Oh, one last thing that comes with that then. I ordered those needles from Gorgeous Yarns, and when she sent me them, so Gorgeous Yarns, I think they're based down in Cornwall. When I got them, and they came super speedily, they also came with a beautiful little mini skein. Hand-dyed mini skein, which I've now wound up, which I'm going to turn into hexie puffs, as I do with all mini skeins, which was very sweet. So a little hand-dyed by the owner, little mini skein as a freebie with my needles. So bonus. There was also some tea in there, and it arrived. Package arrived super speedily, and the customer service from them has just generally been great. There was one thing missing from the needle set. When I ordered, got in touch, it's got sent straight away. I mean, I really couldn't fault the service at all. It was wonderful. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you to Gorgeous Yarns. That was great. I really appreciated it. Put the yarn down, Claire. You're not a cat. I think that's all I've got to say for today. I've been back to Knit Night a couple of times. Really enjoying Knit Night. The ladies there have filthy minds, and I thoroughly approve of it. I've been laughing a lot at Knit Night. That's really good. Drumming has started again. So drumming practice has started again. We're getting ready for stuff's already going in the calendar for performances, so that's good. The sun has come out brighter, and I'm going all a bit weird coloured. Never mind. Yeah, I got voted in as membership secretary for drumming. I wasn't planning on that, but very happy to be doing that. The previous membership secretary had been doing it for quite a few years, wanted to step down, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, but obviously someone else will want to do it, and there was a deathly silence in the room. So okay, I'll do it then. That will be me. So yeah, new job, working my way up the ranks. Kellyanne, I'm coming for your job next. No, I'm not. Kellyanne is a leader, and she's also a podcaster. She runs the Yarn Tales by the Sea podcast, but she's one of the drumming leaders, so she's the one that stands at the front and tells us what to do. I am not doing that because I can't remember the songs apart from anything else. But yeah, really excited that drumming started again. Once drumming gets going, I'm sure there'll be more drumming-related knitting as well, once it gets going properly for performances, but we'll see what that's like when that happens. I feel like I have been talking very quickly. Please feel free to play this on a slow speed if that's helpful. But yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for continuing to watch and spend time in this little corner of the internet. I really appreciate you watching it, and I love it when you comment, so please, comments below, questions, general chat, feel free, anything that you fancy. It's a lovely day that I might well, I say it's a lovely day. It's sunny. It's very windy and cold out there as well. But I might venture out and go and look in some shops. Neil's working overtime today. I've got the day to myself. I could do anything. I might just sit on the sofa and knit. There's a Boxy to be worked on. It's going to take a while to make the most of the opportunities. Anyway, I'm literally just rambling now. And I know it says rambling at the front, but yeah, there's a limit. So, yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for watching. Sorry for being so rambly, but that's kind of just me. It's all a bit stream of consciousness here. I hope you have a lovely weeks, month, however long it is until I see you again next. And yeah,